Good day and welcome in, everyone. It's Betting Weekly Live on Wednesday, the 16th of October. You with Steve Wyss, and I'm joined by our golf handicapper, Simon Holden, Lord Oakwell himself. It's good to have you back, Simon. How's life been treating you?
Very well. Great to be here. I don't know about you. I'm exhausted after that intro, Steve. Absolutely fabulous, that. Yeah, it's going well. A little incident yesterday on the golf course when the Earl of Cardigan here was sporting a new cardigan yesterday, but that wasn't the story. I've been hit in the eye. So be careful. What? It's a dangerous game out there. But
with a golf ball?
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah. Well done, Inspector.
Yeah, I nearly got hit this summer, right? I think it was playing around in June at a place called Richmond in Yorkshire. And there's my own fault because I didn't think I was in the danger zone, and I was. And the sound of this ball going past my ear, it was whizzing. If it had hit me, I would have been knocked out properly. Yeah. And I still remember that sound today. And, an inch, if I'd moved my head that way, I probably would have been in trouble. So, to get hit in the eye, though, crazy stuff. I mean, what happened? Were you playing a shot from a bunker and the ball come back at you? Was it your own shot?
Just a stray ball from another player. I'm sure it wasn't deliberate. I'm a very popular man up there, but it's a good job you had the lucky skip, Steve. I'd have been sat here on my own doing all the MLB, and it wouldn't have gone well. It would not have gone well. But we're here in one piece and ready to give winners.
We certainly are. We've got with our golf handicapper on the show, we're going to be talking about the PGA Tour event this week. We've also I've got some interesting stats about the MLB playoff game today. And because it's a bit of a quiet day, I thought with Simon on, we will just have a look ahead to the Premier League card, as it's one of your specialist leagues. Because everyone's now looking after the international break and from a soccer point of view, thinking about betting at the weekend. Welcome into everyone. Duncan, great to see you. Florence Nightingale, always great to see you. I am doing very well, thank you very much. Disky as well, great to see you. So yeah, onto the golf then, and PGA Tour this week. It's the Shriners Children's Open. And this event is from Las Vegas itself. So I don't know, maybe that might inspire a bit more money on the event from a handle perspective, from its location. Tom Kim, who has a great record around here, is the favourite. I thought he'd be a bit shorter, to be honest, considering his record here. You can get him at 12-1 with Bet Rivers. I'm sure he will attract plenty of attention. Yeah, after that, we're looking at knocking on the door of 20-1 bar. So it feels like quite an open field here at TPC Summerlin in Las Vegas. Always quite like the look of this course, to be honest, Simon. Whenever I've seen it, it's got a nice finish to it. If they actually set it up harder, I think there'll be a very interesting event here. But, I mean, normally if you look at the scores, it's pretty low. What sort of course are we looking at? And what sort of golfer profile for those wanting to back a type of golfer? Before we get to your picks, your outright picks, what type of golfer is going to suit this golf course?
Well, we're in Vegas, aren't we? And these are resort courses. And just very quickly, Steve, we lost the Tropicana. I'm wearing this in honor Tropicana Social Club. The Tropicana Hotel in Vegas was, of course, demolished this week, one of the great old Vegas hotels. So there'll be a few tears there. But these are resort courses. We were talking earlier. What you've got to do is you've got to get your golf head on here. You've got to think. This has only once in the last 10 years been less than 20 under, and that was when they had horrendous weather. So this is a low-scoring event. You've got to look at that. You don't have to be particularly long off the tee. It's not a difficult course. These are adverts, of course, for people to go out there on vacation and play these courses. They don't want to terrify the potential patrons. Now, Tom Kim comes here. You just said he should be shorter. Of course, he's a very controversial figure now. He caused a lot of trouble in the President's Cup, was felt by Scotty Scheffler and others to be humiliating, was words like that were done. So he could be in for quite a spicy welcome. He's on for his third win in a row in this. And the thing about that
How good is Tom Kim? How good is he? I mean, he's in the headlines a lot. He's been in the headlines a lot. Can he back it up with his play?
His world ranking, I think we can find the answer to his seemingly big price. His world ranking has plummeted this year. He has not played anywhere near as well as the year he burst on the scene and the year he backed it up last year. So we are with a guy who is not playing the same quality of golf. We have to balance that out with the fact that he has been a master of this golf course. But I don't think the 2024 vintage of young Tom Kim merits being the price he is. So I'm going to go elsewhere this week, especially at 12-1, Steve, with the 50 odds. You're going to have to make a big each way play there. I don't think he's a win only bet, even in a weakish field. Plus, you've got the crowd are going to be on his back. The first 2 years he came here, he was the new kid on the block. He was the darling of the galleries last year. Well, he isn't going to be this week. He's upset a lot of the American fans. So he needs to do a bit of good PR, I think, first and foremost this week. So I'm looking elsewhere. But talented guy, like a lot of young players who burst through, his graph started to straighten and even dip. So I'm sure he's going to be top 10. But as a win bet, not for me.
And Bet Rivers are offering each way on this market.
6 places.
Children's,
yeah.
Shriners Children's Open. You've got plenty of time to get on these bets, by the way. This is a Thursday tee-off time, 9:55 Eastern, because we're in a different time zone, so you've got even longer to get your bets on. The players that we mentioned here might even shorten by the time we get the tee-off. I'm going to come to your picks in a minute, but just going to address Rick Haley. Any thoughts on the Women's Champions League games today? I actually did have a look, Rick, and I'll tell you why it caught my eye, because a team from Sweden called Hammarby are playing Barcelona today. And I was like, wow, well done to Hammarby. I was just surprised that their women's team got this deep into the competition. I think the handicap was about -4.5 or something. But no, it's not. I don't really bet on women's football very often. Henry VIII says it's unusually cool in Las Vegas in the upper 70s. I mean, that's still bloody hot to me. Will that make a difference, Simon, compared to normal? I mean, temperature affects ball flight, things like that. I don't know.
Not on a short course, I wouldn't have thought. And this by PGA standards is an extremely short course. So yes. I wouldn't have thought. So I think it's just going to be pleasant weather, isn't it, all week? That's the forecast.
Give me a best bet for the outright here in the Shriners Children's Open.
Well, let's look at the argument for Tom Kim. I've given the negative. He's plummeting world ranking. You can't get away from a glaring tick in his box. He's won the last 2 versions of this. But I'm going to go for Adam Hadwin. 4 of the last 5 editions of this tournament here, he has finished in the top 10, including 2 of the last 3. Now, here's the interesting thing. Adam Hadwin is smarting, fuming, angry that he wasn't. He was the nearest name to be in. He was just missed the cut for the President's Cup, held, of course, in his native Canada. Absolutely heartbroken. And he has been making real noises of the sort of I'll show you type. Now, Adam Hadwin has come here in the past seemingly out of form. We have a saying in horse racing in the UK, Steve, horses for courses. Horses that run well at the same track time and time again. You take them to other tracks, they're absolutely rubbish. I'm not saying Adam Hadwin is absolutely rubbish at other golf courses, but he comes alive on Thursday morning at Summerlin. And I just think plus 4,000, when we look at that record, I think it's exceptional value. I love asking golfers to do what they've already proven they can do. And at 3.5 times the price, I'm sorry, but he has to be the player this week. Like I say, I've looked through. He has come here before in seemingly wretched form and just clicked. So whether it's the confidence of the place, whether it's he likes a night at the old tables the night before, who knows? The only thing that matters is I hope he doesn't go to the Tropicana. It's a lot of rubble now. But what we do know is and he's making very positive noises on social media recently in interviews of, get me back to Vegas. And this year, of course, the added incentive. And I really think golfers who've got a point to prove are the type you want to get with. He was devastated to not be in the President's Cup. And that can go one of 2 ways. He can sulk or he can do the I'll show you. And if he's ever going to do an I'll show you week, it's got to be here at his beloved Summerlin. So plus 4,000, I think it's look, this is going to be a low-scoring event. When we look at low-scoring events, another way they're often described as putting contests. I don't think this is quite that. I do think you've got to have your irons in play. Driving you can get away with here. bad drivers have won here before. People have won here with pretty ordinary driving stats. So if you spray it around, you're only going to be in very light rough. But you've got to have those irons working. And he just relishes this place. He's a superb putter of the golf ball on these type of greens. And I think he's a bet here. I think he's a good bet at plus 4,000, 6 places. I'd much rather be on him than Tom Kim.
Yeah, so it's an each way bet here at plus 4,000, 6 places. And you know, as I said at the top of the show, this is a very open betting market with, you know, outside of Tom Kim, you're getting at least 20 to 1 on anyone. So if you know, there's some rookies in the field, not rookies, but some of them, there's plenty of newer faces in the field for this event. You know, someone probably will place at 100 to 1 or more. That's the way it goes, probably. Simon. So yeah, that is Adam Hadwin. I actually follow him on Twitter and his wife actually as well. A bit of a jovial character. You know, they're quite a fun family, I think. They and this might be the sort of place that brings the best out of them all. You know what I mean? Environment, and that could be a reason why he likes it here at TPC Summerlin. And you got another pick though for this event as well on the outright market.
Yeah, just quickly on the outright. I'm very much a fan of the old streaky players, the man in form, ride the wave. One of those players in the last really 5-6 years has been Harris English. The guy goes months and months in terrible form. Then he hits form and tends to hold it for 4, 5, 6 events. Then forget him. You'll never hear from him again. And he played superbly. I actually think he had a real shot of winning last week at the bizarre Black Desert Classic in Utah there. Now, he's got a reasonable record in this, but I'm not so much bothered about his record in this event. It's the fact that he's hit form. And I thought Harris English at the same price as Hadwin, plus 4,000, I think he'll give you a run for the money. Again, we're asking him to do what he's proved he can do time after time after time, which is hold his form when he hits it. So there would be my 2 against the field, definitely. And of course, the great swing, Harris English. Just on the point of it being in Vegas, I always think it's fun to watch this event and try and look as they line up which one has done their absolute conkers the night before in the casino. You can usually tell it'll be the one who's like holding his hand thinking, I better win because I need to win to get level on the week. I've completely done it in. So that's another one. Next time we're on, we'll give a name who we think did the conkers in big style.
I love it. Simon Holden analysis, looking through everyone and seeing and trying to predict who
might not get the winner, but I'll get the one who's skin. Yeah.
Those who maybe won quite a lot might just think, doesn't matter what happens to this tee shot because I've already got my prize money for the week. Yeah. So
the one who doesn't turn up has probably won, like hit the old slot and they just stayed there.
The late withdrawal.
Exactly.
Adam Hadwin then 40 to 1. Harris English 45 to 1. Each way, 6 places with Bet Rivers. They're your 2 outright picks. Wouldn't be a golf show without a Simon Holden 3-ball bet either. Exactly. You've got one bet for us on the 3-ball. What time is it teeing off and who you're betting on?
Well, I don't want to fall out with anyone at Bet Rivers. They're all wonderful people, but I do think they've made an error here. Now, please forgive me. It might turn out that I'm wrong. But Ben Griffin, I mean, this guy is in fantastic form. He was 11th last week, Black Desert Classic, but he has, I think, 4 top 10s recently. Very unassuming guy, but in the form of his life. And the thing about Ben Griffin is not great off the tee, but that isn't really going to matter. Tom Kim's not long. Before that, we had Sung Jae Im win this event. He's not long. Now, he's up against a badly out of form Charlie Hoffman and Hoey, Chico Hoey. Now, I'm not being to be rude, Chico Hoey, but, you know, he's a classic, not even household name in his own house. So I cannot understand this. Plus 145. If I was doing this, I'd give him about plus 110. So Ben Griffin, he's out there, out in the 3-ball out, 7:17 a.m. Eastern time. Ben Griffin to get us off to a flyer tomorrow, plus 145 to beat Charlie Hoffman, the Hoff, badly out of form, and Chico Hoey, who, I don't think he's going to need security on the 18 to keep away the autograph hunters, put it that way, Steve. So I think Ben, the man in form, can get us off to a flyer in the old 3 balls on Thursday.
I mean, plus 195 Hoey in this. So Hoffman must be playing pretty bad to be
shocking.
for Hoey to be this short in the
He's
betting.
that out of form. It might have been his ball that hit me in the eye yesterday from the Vegas tee-offs. He's that astray at the moment. So the Hoff I cannot have. Yes. So
Ben Griffin. Ben Griffin in this 3-ball. To access this market on BetRivers, go to the Shriners Children's Open futures and round props best score round 1. This is a 3-ball market. Ben Griffin. We'll recap the bets at the end of the show anyway. Anyone watching? What bets are you on golf? Are there many golf bettors out there watching? Who do you like this week? And let us know, because it's something to talk about for tomorrow. PGA Tour out in Vegas. There's a big match today in the baseball, and there we go. It's the Dodgers at the Mets. 1-1 is the series tie at the minute. This looks a genuine pick'em on the money line. The Mets minus 105, Dodgers minus 112. Run line 1.5. And the total points, the total runs, is the over and under 8 for this game. I can tell you 59% of the money is on the Mets. 52% of the tickets is on the Mets. So it's quite split in that capacity. And the over-under money, though, 88% of the money is on the over, which is 79% of the tickets. So in terms of the betting, the trader info here so far for the game, the big, not big money, is for this over 8 run line. The biggest bet on the game at the minute, this is at the time of going live, of course, is $17,000. Mets on the money line plus over 6.5 runs. It's the same game parlay at plus 180. And Shohei Ohtani is very popular in a lot of the prop markets in terms of home runs, total hits, stuff like that. Let us know. I know we've got a lot of baseball bettors here who regularly watch the show. What are you on? What's the best bet today in the baseball? I'm certainly not in a position to advise any bets for it. But Shakespeare is a man who is. And there he says the LA Dodgers are winning the World Series at plus 175 with BetRivers. That is a Shakespeare guarantee. Now, that is strong words from our main man there with the baseball. Fantastic. But he really likes them. What else are you betting on with the baseball? There's a lot of this kicks off, I think, 8 p.m. Eastern, I do believe, Simon, around about midnight our time. Nice little bit of watching for those who stay up late in the UK.
What was that guy's name again, Steve? If there is a modern day Babe Ruth, it's this guy. What would you just remind me what his name was?
His name is Shohei Ohtani.
That's him.
He is going to be. There's been $8,000 has been placed on him for over 0.5 runs scored at minus 130. So that's the biggest player prop bet of the game with BetRivers. So what are you getting on, everyone? We are going to have a quick look now at the Premier League card into the weekend, because I don't know about you, but this international break has felt a long one, really long, and I've already had. I know it's really been it's been a long one, and I had people messaging me today. What are you betting on the weekend? I'm getting on this. I mean, how far advance do you sort of bet, Simon? I must say I'm always a bit reluctant after the international break, because you can guarantee there's at least half a dozen players, key players in every league, who are coming back with some sort of niggle or, I don't know, fatigue or whatever. So I'm always a little bit cautious, but there is one bet I really do like in the Premier League this weekend, which I'm going to come to soon. But so here's the card. Here's the early card. Premier League show tomorrow is going to be out with Nigel Seeley, Jack Wright. So around about now is when it'll be coming out. So in 24 hours time. Don't know what they're going to be on, but now there's one rule that some people have in betting, Simon, in Premier League: never bet the early kickoff. You are going against the rules here, my man. And you are looking at Tottenham against West Ham, and this is one of your at the minute your best early fancy for the weekend in the Premier League. London derby. Yeah. What do you got to say about this game then? West Ham.
Rules are there to be broken, aren't they? I don't set them, I break them. You know what I mean? Swim against the tide. The thing is, one of the other great rules of soccer betting, wagering, is never trust the Spurs, never trust Tottenham. They will always let you down. I'm going against that one. Now, I said to you, I am all over Tottenham for this West Ham game. I think this is as much an anti-West Ham selection as it is pro Tottenham. I think Tottenham will be like, I gave Brighton, had a good bet on Brighton, and I'd given up at half time. The money was gone, and Brighton came back somehow to beat Spurs in the last round of games. And I think every Tottenham player from that game will just be dying to get back on the pitch and put that right. And what better way of doing it than West Ham coming to town? Of course, got rid of Moyes, not good enough, a bit like Palace, another team who switched managers. It's turning out that the new promised land isn't quite as wonderful as they thought. And I think West Ham have gone backwards this year, Steve. I think Tottenham might put on a performance and put on a show. Now, I know they've let people down time after time after time, but I do think this West Ham team is here for the taking. And I'm not even going to be fancy about and try and find any angles. I just think it's a point and shoot, minus 220.
This is your lock of the weekend.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one that stood out to me. This is on Sunday, the big game on Sunday, Super Sunday here, Liverpool-Chelsea. I'm sure there'll be a lot of opinions about this one. The goal line for me is very high, Simon, for two reasons. I think if you look at the expected goals against numbers for Liverpool especially, and Chelsea's are not bad either, we've actually got two decent defences on show. 9 of the last 11 head-to-heads have gone under 2.5 goals, let alone under 3.5 goals. The line's 3.5, by the way, minus crazy. 125 here. And there's a massive rivalry history between the two sides as well. It goes back to Champions League in 2004, I think it was. So none of these sides ever like to get beat. I was looking through the card. This one stood out like a sore thumb to me. And I know unders are not everyone's sort of favourite bets. But that was my early angle on the Premier League. Rick Haley says he likes Brighton this weekend. Brighton got away against Newcastle. I know Newcastle a little bit overachieving with some of the metrics. Before we go, I've got to ask you about, I looked at the card and I was surprised when I saw Ipswich are actually favourites to win a Premier League game this weekend.
I wasn't.
You weren't. And then I looked at who they're playing against and I thought, okay, I can probably live with that. Let me just find them on the card. There it is there. Ipswich against Everton. I've got to ask you about Everton. You are a big Everton fan. We know that from the live shows last year. Everton at plus 195. Form has been a little bit better, Simon. Would Everton interest you? Strike while the iron's hot, or are Ipswich potentially in line to get the first Premier League win of the season?
Yes, they are. I mean, the last Everton game against Palace was, there's 90 minutes you're not going to get back in your life. And you sit and think of all the things you should have done over the years that you wasted 90 minutes on that. That was awful. I'll give you a bet that leads to a bet here. Everyone's talking about, as they have been for 6 months, that the Manchester United manager, Ten Hag, that's his name, is on the verge of getting the sack. I hear it on the radio, I see it on the TV, I hear it on betting sites, on soccer sites. He's going to get the sack. He's always the favourite in that market. I don't see any particular reason why he's any more under pressure than he has been for the past year. If Ipswich were to do a number on Everton, which I think is entirely possible, the quality of the last Everton game was wretched. It was awful. And if Ipswich turn it on and attack, I honestly think they could probably win 2-0. If it's 2-0 or worse, I put it to you, Steve, that Mr. Deitch could be in big, big trouble this weekend. We have David Moyes, the former West Ham, but former Everton manager, back in the area, and is rumoured to have all sorts of talks, wanting this length of deal that they don't want to give him. This is all conjecture, of course, but I honestly believe that Deitch is still one bad result away from getting the sack. And I think you can still get 14s in the Bet Rivers next manager market. So a bet that leads to a bet. If Ipswich were to win heavy, Man United have got possibly a winnable game at the weekend. I think that Sean Dyche is in big, big trouble. And I just, with a heavy heart, will have a few quid on him as the next manager to leave.
I honestly don't see him as the next manager out. But what I would agree is if there is a bad result for Everton, then the odds will cut. So it's a possible sort of back to lay for those who like to do that. I can get your angle. I just don't think Everton can afford to sack him at this stage of the season, unless things got desperate, say after Christmas. But yeah, listen, you know your club a bit more than me. I tell you what, I feel like Blofeld with my cat next to me today.
The Bond villain.
This is his Kit Kat. He's been on a couple of streams recently. He's not been so well, this cat, unfortunately.
We hope he's all right.
So he likes a bit of comfort. He's going to be all right. He's enjoyed being part of the show today. Thanks everyone who joined in. We're going to leave it there. Betting Weekly live back tomorrow and Friday, of course. Reminder of the 2 outright bets from Simon. It's the PGA Tour event, Shriners Hospitals for Children's. Adam Hadwin, Harris English, 40-1 and 45-1 on the each way market, 6 places, and Ben Griffin in the 3 balls tomorrow. Thanks, Simon. It's been great having you on the show.
Pleasure.
And always appreciate it. Always a lot of good fun. Take care, everyone. Good luck, whatever you're betting on today. There's not much out there, really. But looking ahead to the weekend, I'm sure you're going to be doing that as my cat goes a bit crazy. Goodbye and take care.